and welcome to, oh my god, season 3.
Season 3 already?
Already? Episode 1 of I See Bad Movies. And I don't know about you, Emma. By the way, I'm Dave Keane. And I'm joined by the excellent Emma Spicer.
Hi.
And I don't know about you, Emma, but I'm very excited for this season.
Yes, I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah. Could you tell everyone what we're focusing on this season?
This season we are doing killer animals.
Oh, yes.
So we did killer inanimate objects last season.
Yeah.
Which was great as well.
Oh,
particularly
there
the
were some
last
classics.
episode. But this is actually living, breathing animals this time. So they can do a lot more, I would have thought, than an inanimate object. And the inanimate objects were pretty good. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had
they're pretty
tiles.
impressive murderers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Sofa,
Unicorns, stuff. Well, I'm sure you'll be very, very excited, Emma, to know the movie that we're watching this episode.
Yes.
We are watching Piranha 3D,
But not in 3D, yeah,
No,
because I haven't got that kind of technology.
Yeah, the technology exists, we just don't have it with us. But, so would you like to also hear the synopsis of the movie?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, after a sudden underwater tremor sets 3 scores of the prehistoric man-eating fish, an unlikely group of strangers must band together to stop themselves from becoming fish food for the area's new razor-toothed residents. I know, it sounds so, like, full of tense moments, doesn't it? Just from that, I bet. Alright, so as is the case with I See Bad Movies, what we're going to do is flip a coin and figure out if we're going to focus on the good or the bad bits of Piranha.
I'm hoping it's bad.
And do you think bad? It's the good.
Oh, is there any good?
This is the
there
first
any
time
good
you've gotten
parts
it
of
wrong in a
this?
while. Are there any good bits in it? I don't know.
I haven't watched it for a long time, but I have seen it before.
Yeah.
What, did it say 1999? Or was that something else we were looking at?
That was something else. It's 2010.
Oh, it's 2010.
Yeah, we
Still-
were looking
still
at
quite
Sixth Sense. That was 1999.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, famously, we are playing on the I See Dead People with the name of the podcast.
Yes.
I mean, famously.
Fa-
I mean, it's
Is it famous?
oh my God, Michael. It's not famous at all, is it? All right, so we're going to be focusing on the good bits. Emma, and it's a new season, we're going to have a new choice for the cards, and I have all the cards here, so
Yeah.
let me just prove. You can hear the cards fanning in my hand. There you go. Emma, would you like to choose the cards?
Yeah. First one is death.
Oh, very nice.
It was like a good death scene, don't we?
Yeah.
Second one is actress.
Oh, okay.
And then we've got scene. That should be a good one for this movie, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Supporting cast.
Oh. There'll be a lot of supporting cast in this one,
yeah,
because it's a spring break, isn't it, or something?
Oh, and the last one is actor. Oh, so we've got actress, actor, and supporting cast.
Oh, wow, we've got the full,
Yeah.
the full cast.
But as ever, if we haven't got a great deal to say, we can always swap one out for a wild card, can't we?
Yeah, I think we can always put in a wild card, just in case. We've never had actress, actor, and supporting cast.
No, we haven't,
altogether.
have we?
Well, let's hope that Piranha doesn't let us down.
I'm sure it won't.
I'm sure it
How
won't.
could it?
How could it?
It's a film about human-eating
Piranhas.
fish. Is that right? Human-eating fish?
Yeah, flesh eating.
Yeah, flesh-eating. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Flesh-eating fish.
Yeah. Right. So shall we go and give Piranha 3D a watch?
In 2D. Let's do it.
Well, welcome back.
Did your voice just break?
That was so high pitched.
It was really high.
I started talking, and then I was like, I can't stop
You
this
just
now.
went with it.
This is me
This is
now.
how I talk now.
Hey, welcome back, dear listeners, to hearing me and Emma talk about Piranha.
I mean,
I'm still a little in shock from the film, to be fair.
as bad movies go, that's got to be one of the best ones, hasn't it?
I think for
I haven't watched it for years
what
and
happens
years.
in it, definitely.
And I don't think I've ever watched it the whole way through. But yeah, that is. If you're looking for a bad movie, it's a really good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's got everything you kind of want from a bad movie.
Everything.
It starts off pretty boring though.
Yeah, it was a bit slow to get going, but then it just hits a scene where it's just everything's happening.
Oh, and
everything really is happening.
You take your eye off the screen for one moment and you miss something.
Well, this was the problem because I was frantically trying to write notes about every single second of this scene.
Yeah.
And then I had to rewind a couple of times because I just missed some key moments. So
and some of them weren't even action or something that happened. There was one bit where I had to get you to rewind just to see a guy's acting.
Yeah. There was a lot going on.
There really was.
It was great though. It was a great scene.
Yeah.
And some of the lines. I turned to David after this particular scene in the middle and just said that scene was chef's kiss. It was just
and it was
perfect.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even like a chef's kiss from you, like an ironic one. It was I know you meant it.
I meant it from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, you'll never hear me saying, "Oh my God, I have to watch Piranha 3D again." But if you sat me down and said, "We're going to watch this particular scene of Piranha,"
you wouldn't be sad about it.
I'd be like, "Yeah, actually, I would watch that again."
Yeah,
definitely. All right, so shall we do a quick synopsis?
Yes.
We say quick synopsis every.
I think
every
it would
episode.
be a quick one though because there wasn't, apart from this one scene, there isn't a great storyline, is there? Let's be honest. There's not a lot going on in the storyline. It's a very simple, basic storyline. But yeah, we've just got to get on to this.
Yeah. So we'll power through till we get to that scene. This could actually end up being the shortest episode ever, because we just want to get to this scene to talk about it.
I feel like we're probably going to go off topic a lot on this one because I've just written so many notes about random things.
Yeah.
But there's loads to talk about.
Oh, 100%.
So even if we don't hit the categories, I mean, we'll definitely hit scene and we'll hit on actress and death.
The thing is, there's something you could pick out for every one of them.
Yeah.
Easily, but I think
there's so much else to talk about as well.
With the elements in the movie, there's so much more to talk about. And is that like bad of us to divert from our topics because we set ourselves these very specific goals? Or
well, it's our podcast. We do what we want.
Yeah,
we make our own rules.
Absolutely. You can write in a letter of complaint, but you only could be complaining to us.
Yeah.
So,
we're kind of in charge, so.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. All right. So our movie starts with Richard Dreyfuss of all people. And I'm wondering, was he in the original Piranha in the 70s?
Oh, I'm not sure actually.
And I'm wondering if that's why he was in it. But obviously he was in Jaws.
I didn't realise until today that there was an original Piranha until I looked it up earlier.
Yeah. See, I remember the original Piranha from my childhood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
don't remember really watching it, but I always remember being really scared of piranhas. Like they were going to be a problem in my later life. Like quicksand.
Jinx! You've got to make a wish, quick.
No, okay. Alright. I didn't actually make a wish there.
Oh no! It definitely won't come true then.
I'd never heard of that before. Jinx, make a wish.
Oh, have you not heard that before?
No.
Oh, okay.
Normally it's like Jinx and you've got to be quiet and someone until you buy them a can of Coke or whatever, or a can or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it's far more transactional, my kind of Jinx. Yeah. Yes. So we start out, Richard Dreyfuss, fisherman on a boat.
Yeah, on his own.
Yeah. Like, he drops, and don't worry, I'm not going to be going through the synopsis doing specifically what they do. Like, he breathes in, he breathes out, he's singing a song to himself. No, but he drops a beer bottle over the edge, and the beer bottle hits the bottom of the lake, and then an earthquake happens. And I said to you, it's like...
Coincidence, or do you think the bottle actually made the earthquake happen?
Exactly. And I like to think it's coincidence.
It must be.
And not, all of a sudden, a beer bottle. But also, as the beer bottle was floating down at the bottom of the lake, I was like, implode.
Yeah.
Oh, too soon?
Too soon, yeah.
Far too soon. Anyway.
By the time this goes out, it might be alright.
Well, it's only going to be a couple of weeks after.
Too soon.
It's only going to be a couple of weeks after. Yeah. So we have dated when we've recorded this as well. So.
Oh yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah. And yeah, Emma, we do realise we're out of episodes now. We are recording and releasing effectively. I know. Scary times. However,
If we get too far behind, we'll just have to do live episodes.
yeah, just like I think what we might do actually is be like, yeah, we've got to take a month break.
Yeah.
End of season 3, we're going to take a break.
Yep.
Or maybe not. Maybe not. However, so he drops his beer bottle. It sets off an earthquake, which opens up a massive rift in Lake Victoria, where it's spring break at the moment.
Yeah.
And like it opens up like a whirlpool as it connects.
Oh yeah,
an
he
ancient
just. I mean, the
lake.
special effects are amazing on that.
Oh, it was amazing. And then we realised as well, it's a 3D movie, so the effects are going to be like that.
Obviously, we're watching it in 2D.
Things coming out of the screen, you know. And there were a lot of those little moments for like the over-the-top 3D effects.
Yeah.
One of them was actually really quite sickening.
Yes.
And a few of them were quite sickening.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's this whirlpool, but all these piranha like come out from this historic, this hidden lake under a lake. He falls in, gets eaten,
Yeah.
and then we cut to actual spring break.
Do we cut to spring break first, or do we go to the family with the mum? That's the is she the sheriff or?
She's the sheriff, but we don't see them as a family yet. I think we cut to spring break.
Oh, okay.
And we meet Jake and Kelly, his sort of love interest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think you might be right actually. Yeah.
And we find out that he can't be enjoying spring break because there's like a load of cuts of spring break, and there's like how many 30, 40-year-olds?
Oh, honestly, so it's meant to be spring break. So you have got a few youngsters in there, but a lot of those actors and actresses were like 30 years old, 25,
Absolutely.
30 years old. And then they do a crowd scene, and most of them, they're fairly young. They might be 20, 25, but they're fairly young. And then there's just this guy that looks about 40 stood there, and you're like, really? We're just running out of extras because he really didn't fit in with everybody else. So yeah, I question the age of the spring breakers. They're like 25 to 30 years old. They wouldn't still be at school.
But like spring breakers, in my mind, in America, are actually like from like high school to college student, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the
So
people
they
that
would
celebrate
be-
spring break.
Yeah, so they'd be what, 18 to 21, something like that, or
Yeah, I'd guess, or maybe a bit.
college students would be a bit
Yeah, I
older.
don't- yeah, I
so they
don't
leave
think-
high school at 18, don't they? In America,
Yeah, I think
and
so.
then-
Yeah, because I can't imagine you'd see like the 16 to 18-year age range doing the activities that we saw in this film.
No,
But is spring break actually like that?
who knows? We don't
You
live in
know?
America, do we? So we wouldn't have a clue.
I know. I'm really confused as to whether it's actually like that. If it is, I'm booking a holiday. Oh no, wait! I'll be the 50-year-old
You'll be the
guy that's standing there.
50-year-old.
Well, by the time I save up to go on spring
Yeah.
break, I'm no spring break chicken.
No, that doesn't work.
Oh, no, it didn't work, did it? That was really bad. That was bad. So we meet Jake.
Yes.
He's a bit hapless. The girl that he really likes is going off to do stuff on spring break the following day while he's got to go and babysit his brother and sister.
Yeah.
Who we then meet, the sister, talking to Kelly Brook,
Yes.
who is... Kelly Brook got famous in the UK on Breakfast TV,
Yes.
didn't she?
And then I think did she just do like modelling and stuff like that after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen her in any other movie though. I don't know if she's done any other
I've never seen
acting.
her in another film either, actually. I think was maybe Piranha was her kind of springboard. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Into TV and films in America, and maybe it just didn't stick.
I can't think why.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I mean, she's great.
I think why at all. No. So what do we have? We meet Jesus. We then meet the film producer that Kelly's working with.
Yes.
Well, we say film producer.
Well, porn producer.
Website producer guy
Yeah.
covering spring break.
Yeah.
And he
These
decides
budgie
that
smugglers.
in his little oh God, yeah,
Couldn't be any smaller those trunks, could they?
those little red trunks.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a guy wearing little red trunks like that. I mean, you got to think red flag.
And yeah, were they trying to do Baywatch with the red?
Oh yeah,
Maybe,
yeah,
I don't know.
I hadn't considered Baywatch.
But yeah, it just Far too small. It didn't need to be that small.
No one needs
They
to
looked
see.
uncomfortably small, didn't they? It didn't look like...
I mean, if anything, it would be uncomfortable wearing something like that.
Yeah.
Just
It's just not a good look either, is it?
restrictive.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I imagine.
Yeah, so, a little bit of blood flow issues going on there.
Yeah.
But who's played by Jerry O'Connell who played, I can't remember the character's name, but it was the
been in a
big kid
few.
from Big, no, not Big, Stand By Me.
Yeah, he's been in a few things, though, hasn't he? I've seen him in a few.
Yeah, you'll see him in a lot.
Yeah, there were quite a few people in
Yeah.
this movie that you know, weren't there?
Absolutely, there was. It was like loads of like little cameos coming in.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Yes, oh God, how many times am I going to start this sentence? He employs Jake to be like a location scout because he knows the area,
Yes.
and to the following day take them out on the boat and show them around all the like nice areas to shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
So Jake's like, oh,
Because people care about that on
babysitting.
porn movies, don't they?
Yeah.
Location.
Yeah, location,
Sex.
lactation. And I couldn't think of anything
Too
else.
far.
Anything else that's stuck in with location. Far too far. It's a niche category. Anyway, we have. Yeah, so Jake's obviously thinking, oh, he's got to babysit his brothers.
And Jake does actually
sister.
look about 17, 18.
Yes, he does.
He actually looks like the right age bracket. Everyone else pretty much looks far too old.
Yes.
But he does look the right sort of age, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. His love interest looks far older than him.
Yeah.
Kelly looks far older than him. And by the way, we do confuse ourselves because there's a character called Kelly and there's an actress called Kelly. And
Yes.
I'm well confused.
So Kelly
talking
Brooks' character is called Danny. Is
Danny,
that right? And
that's
then
it,
the
yeah.
other girl's called Kelly. So yeah.
So yeah, I well confused myself.
Yeah, because at first when someone first said Kelly, I thought Kelly Brook was playing Kelly Brook, and they were just going to call her Kelly. But oh, and by the way, she makes no attempt to do an American accent, which I think was probably a wise choice because it'd probably be terrible.
Yes.
But I always find it interesting when they just throw in an English person and they don't even explain anything about their story. I mean, you don't know. I mean, I know people move to different countries but literally everybody else in the cast is American. And then she's just thrown in there with her English accent and it just sounded a bit odd. But I think it would have been funny if she'd attempted the accent, obviously,
I know what you mean, yeah.
But she didn't. It was just...
It would have been perfect. All right. Oh, Kelly Brook. She's not from far away from us, actually, is she?
No, she's not, yeah.
Was it Rochester? Midway Town?
Oh, I thought she was like Lenham or somewhere really near to Ashford.
I know she's she's somewhere in that, like...
She's in Kent, basically,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I have seen her in Waitrose.
Have
And
you?
Vic Reeves and Razor Ruddock.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Is it?
Yeah, I've seen no one.
I've not spoken to any of them, I've just seen them.
No. Well, now, what you need to do, if you see Kelly Brook again, you need to walk up to her and say, hi, we reviewed Piranha on our podcast.
Yeah,
Would you like to come and talk about it with us?
Yeah, I'm sure she'd say yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She's snapped that opportunity up. And if you're listening, Kelly, we'd love to interview you about this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, we can't pay for your time. You just have to do it out of the goodness of your own heart. Oh, God. Maybe we just say really nice things about her now.
Yeah.
I will not have it down as bad actress then, for the for the flip side. Okay. But ultimately what this leads to...
She won't hear that episode because she won't pay for it.
Yeah. I guarantee she wouldn't sign up for the Patreon.
No.
But could you imagine one day...
Oh, amazing if she did.
Being like, having to read out...
If we got one single actor or director, anyone involved in any of these movies, sign up for the Patreon, I mean, that would just be life complete, wouldn't it? Life completed it.
I'd just explode.
Or implode.
Or oh dear. Anyway,
Moving on.
Before we go down that rabbit hole,
Let's not.
Ultimately, what this means is that Jake is gonna shuck his babysitting duties, and and I know I'm kind of skipping a bit of the film. We'll go back and cover what other people are doing in a moment, But Jake is ultimately going to pay his brother and sister to stay at home all day.
Yeah.
Which, of course, for the movie and for dramatic effect, they're not going to. They will get into their own danger, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. We then have like a family scene at night at home with Jake and his mum and all that. And that's when he decides, you eat, that's when he's going to do that for them. And he's going to go off on this boat. We then have the detective woken up really early by one of her, not detective, the sheriff, woken up by one of her deputies, who's played by Ving Rhames. Again, there's another big actor in this movie. Because the original fisherman who died at the beginning of the movie, his wife has called him in as a missing person. Yeah. So they go and investigate it, and I know you want to talk about that scene on probably the flip side, I think.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because it's just like, there was so much was just like, why would you do that?
Yeah, there was just so much.
Why would you do
scene.
that?
Yeah.
Why? They find the dead body, and they decide that they're going to have to get it looked into, because was it chemicals in the water?
Yeah.
Was it something else that killed him? Because he's all kind of, he looks melty, but it's the piranha attack that's done this to him. So yeah, his dead body is not in good shape. We also find out that geologists are coming to the town.
Still quite a lot of him left though, compared to some of the other people that have been eaten.
Yeah, absolutely. Because some people are gone quite quickly.
Some people are literally down to the bone, aren't they?
Yeah.
Quite quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. We find out as well that geologists are coming to town to investigate the earthquake.
Yes.
As well. Now we then really kind of cut to the start of the spring break day, and the day that everything starts to happen. So we have Jake going down to spring break where everything's kicking off, everyone's getting their boobs out, everyone's partying.
Oh, boobs galore.
It is just all over the place. You cannot look, but you've got boobs in your face in this movie. In this scene at least. You have that. Jake gets on the boat and goes out onto the lake with the producer and Kelly and another actress.
And the cameraman.
Danny, played by Kelly. See, I got confused there again.
Yeah.
And another cameraman for it. They all go off on the lake. We have the sheriff and the geologist go out to the lake to the point that the earthquake happened. And also, we have the brother and sister who should be tucked up at home safe.
Yes.
Getting into a little canoe and canoeing off.
Yeah, on the lake.
Onto the lake. And that's where shit really starts to happen. Mm-hmm. So, is it the geologist first that we see things happen to?
Oh, I can't remember. Possibly.
I think it might be. We see the geologists, because there are 3 geologists.
Yeah.
Adam Scott of Parks and Recreation fame and Step Brothers.
Yeah.
He's one of the geologists. And then there are 2 other geologists that you don't know, so you know that they're cannon fodder.
Yeah.
They're going to die. So the 2 of them get into their wetsuits, they dive down and they start to investigate the fissure that's opened.
Yeah.
And they follow it down into a hidden underground lake. And they find all these little eggs. I mean, there are millions of eggs.
Millions of eggs, yeah. You get a close-up of one of the eggs as well, don't you, with a little piranha in it?
Yeah, and it's one of the 3D close-ups, because it does a little jump at the camera as well. It's like, oh God, okay. It's one of those 3D jumps, is it? But yeah, they're very quickly eaten.
Yeah.
And one of them, Adam Scott dives down saves one.
Well, he doesn't though, does he?
No, he really doesn't. Saves was very much in inverted commas there.
Yeah, so God. He dives down and gets one, but then...
No, are we
going to talk about that?
Yeah, because I think I've got that in... have I got that in... Yeah, I've got that in a good scene.
Oh,
I've got that in a good scene, what happens there. But attached to one of the geologists that they save is one of the piranhas.
Yes.
And it's flopping around in the boat, okay? And then we leave them.
Yeah.
We find out that the 2 kids have gotten themselves out onto an island on the lake, but they didn't tie down the boat very well, and that's gone floating off, so they're trapped on the island.
Yep.
And they're trying to get help. We then have a whole not montage, not quite a montage, but it's a whole scene of like whole sort of series of scenes on the
good
boat
scene.
with Jake. Yeah, the good scene.
Is this the good scene you're talking about where everything happens, or is this before?
No.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
This is the scene with a series of like naked dancing underwater.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Tequila shots off her bellies and all sorts. So this is Jake on the boat.
So
with
at this point, we're still
producer.
a little bit bored, aren't we? It's not much happening really.
There isn't.
We've seen the piranhas, but there's not a whole load of action going on. So yeah, this is just like very, very soft porn, not anything.
Oh yeah.
It's like lots of boobs.
That's not why we're bored, because it's soft porn.
It was like, but it was just a lot of girls kissing each other, boobs out. It was just a lot of unnecessary nakedness.
There was also an extremely, extremely long underwater swimming scene.
Oh, they were under there for ages.
These two women, they would have drowned half an hour ago.
Yeah.
They are not coming up further. They're under the boat.
They've done it for a couple of days, I feel like.
They've got a glass bottom boat and they're filming them through the bottom of the glass bottom boat. They ain't coming up for air at any time.
No.
What are they expecting us to believe with this bit? Kelly, Jake's love interest, is actually really getting into this kind of thing, and she's drinking a lot.
Yeah.
All right, and she ends up getting.
They're doing the tequila shots.
Ill.
Yeah, so doing the tequila shots off of the women's stomachs, aren't they? And then he does one off of her.
Yeah,
and then they've got the lime in their mouth, and he's just about to kiss her, and then
she goes over
to the side of the boat.
Yeah,
and that would be a 3D.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, which I thought was are you really
gross,
doing a 3D vomit?
Yeah, they really did. Yeah,
and it's just like far too much. Anyone with emetophobia in that cinema is just going to be like out of there.
Yeah,
no chance. Ugh. Horrid, really horrid. So Kelly has to go under. Kelly's like not very well, so they put her under the thingy, and it's at that point I think that Jake sees. Well, it was kind of around then. I mean, I think there's a little bit more where we see the producer taking drugs and.
Yeah, we see him with like white powder on his nose and stuff, and he says that's when he sees his brother and sister, isn't it? And they're shouting for help, and he's like, "My mum's the sheriff," because they're like, "I'll leave them," kind of thing. They're not bothered about going, and he's like, "They're my family," and then he goes, "They might be in trouble. There's 2 9-year-olds stuck on a rock, mate. I think they're in trouble. Go and get them." And sorry, that was the mother in me coming out. Go and get them.
Get them because they're sick.
But yeah, and they're just not bothered at all. And he's like, "My mum's the sheriff," and then he like wipes the powder off his nose as if like, "Oh shit!" Like, but then I thought they were still going to just leave the kids there, and they weren't going to go and get them because it cuts to another scene, doesn't it? And I was like,
it does, doesn't it?
"Oh, they're just going to leave them. He's going to leave his little brother and sister there."
That's right, because I think it cut to the sheriff and the surviving geologist taking the piranha that they've got in a bucket to Christopher Lloyd.
I know.
Just Christopher Lloyd rocking up, doing a cameo in this movie as well. And Christopher Lloyd gives us the exposition that these piranhas are disappeared 2 million years ago.
Yeah.
And, they were pretty nasty. Nasty. They were apex predators kind of things, hunting in packs and all sorts of
things. He does say that, hunting packs, doesn't he?
Yeah. So he tells us basically these are nasty
don't mess with them.
Yeah.
Basically.
Absolutely, don't mess with them. And also he does a really daft thing.
What does he do?
He puts his fingers in the water.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he?
And
they say, oh, I can't remember what they're saying. He says, "No, I'm just trying to get his attention or something." I'm like, don't put your fingers in the tank of a piranha.
Nothing happens to him, but...
Luckily for him.
Yeah, but it was so fast. Oof. They were... Christopher Lloyd nearly lost 2 fingers. I mean, not really, because it's a film, but...
Yeah.
It's like, don't be so silly, man. Don't be so silly. You would see Doc Brown doing that. What do you mean? That's
all I can think when I see him, though. He's so typecast for me. I can't see him as any other character.
Now, we have a lot of things in play, because I think we then go and rescue the kids.
So then they do go and rescue the kids, because I was like, off you, because I thought they were just going to leave them there on the rock. So they go, they take the boat over and get the kids on the boat.
Yeah.
But as they're getting the kids on the boat, something happens, doesn't it?
Well, they get the kids on the boat, but I don't think
That's when it then gets stuck, isn't it? The boat gets stuck and they can't
that's
move
right.
it.
The boat gets
Is that when all the
stuck.
stuff gets tangled up on the...
Yeah, it's like pond
Yeah.
milkweed or something like that
Yeah,
on
like-
the water, tangled up.
Yeah.
So they're stuck and they're really revving the engine to get away, but that's when we now go to the big scene.
Oh, okay.
So we start, that's because they are stuck on the water, because
Yeah.
we have the big scene and then they get loose and crash, and then that's when the piranhas attack them.
Oh, okay.
So we are not going to cover this scene now because I think we're going to talk about it properly when we talk
Yeah.
about scenes. But we cut to spring break happening and it's chaos,
Yeah.
okay? Not so much chaos in terms of the piranhas are attacking yet.
No, it's just
It's
there's
just a chaotic party.
loads of people there.
Yeah.
Loud music, everyone's drunk. The police have started to go, well, the sheriff has started to go around on a boat with a megaphone and say, get out of the water. But no one can hear her, of course, because there's loud music and everyone's drunk, and so no one's taking the blindest bit of notice of her. So the police have started to go out and say, get out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when it gets even more chaotic, because that's when a load of piranhas come and...
And that's when I realised, Emma, that this movie was actually just a morality tale about respecting authority.
Yeah.
And then I think you quite quickly corrected me.
I think it was just about the boobs, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just about the boobs.
But yeah, it was just very much like we said. There wasn't a storyline as such. The storyline is there's prehistoric piranhas in the water,
Yeah.
and lots of people get killed. And the end. It
Yeah.
literally wasn't. There wasn't any more to it than that. But for this scene alone that we just got to, it's worth a watch. It's worth watching that scene because so much happened, and I was frantically trying to write notes and watch it at the same time, which was impossible, which is why I missed a couple of bits and had to go back. But it was just so much going on all at once. It was a lot, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, and I think that we got into like a really false sense of security with the movie because it was really boring coming up to it.
Yeah.
It was really boring coming up to it.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot
You
going
know,
on, was there, let's be honest.
Then, and yeah, there was a couple of little attacks. Like there was a woman on
Yeah.
a parasail that we'll talk about before, you know, the full-on attack. But that was like the lead up to the attack. And then, yeah, this scene happens. And you're like, what? Oh my God, what?
Yeah.
And so much stuff happens, and we'll unpack it in a moment. So there's this great big massive attack. Loads of people are killed, loads of people are injured. And then the detective gets a phone call from her son. Mum, I've done something stupid. We're trapped. Oh, because, sorry, I just missed. After the attack, it cuts back to the boat. They get themselves loose from whatever's caught them up in the propeller.
Yeah.
They go flying forward at a really fast pace, and they crash into some rocks.
Yeah.
And the glass bottom of the boat.
Oh, yes. That
breaks.
smashes. A real Titanic moment, isn't it? It's just like...
Oh, the water coming up.
It just like gets a massive hole in it. The water's all coming through. Yeah.
Kelly, the love interest, is trapped on the other side of the water inside the ship, inside the boat, in the kitchen.
So she's in the kitchen of the boat like, underneath, where the glass bottom was. And...
We've got the two kids. They're in the back of the boat, inside the boat at the back, but they get out. And it sinks. We get the other actress, not Kelly Brook, but Danny. She falls into the water with the producer.
Yes.
She dies.
Oh, yeah, that's
very
really
quickly.
funny. She does very quickly, but he's kind of pushing her towards the piranhas. But then they do get him, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And that is really funny.
And I think that's one of like the funniest bits is when they get him out the water. What he's like when he's out the water. So he's not long for the world at all. And that's when, Jake's like, we get the call with the mum. He's being a bit of an idiot. They're trapped. The boat's sinking. Because she's like says to whatever you do, don't get in the water or whatever. And she's like, well, we're sinking.
Kind of in the water, sinking with my younger brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Shue, again from Back to the Future,
Karate Kid.
Adventures in Babysitting, which is one of the greatest movies of the 80s. I will fight you over it. I won't fight over it. But it's a great film. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Leave it.
It's not worth falling out over, David.
No,
Come on.
After Karate Kid and Back to the Future and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yes, she does this amazing run across debris to get to a
Yes.
speedboat, which is amazing. And she and the geologist power over to the sunken boat, rescue several people, not everyone.
Oh yeah, they're just pulling people up onto this boat, and I'm thinking, how
Yeah.
many more people can this boat take before
Yeah.
it just capsizes? But they got quite a lot of people on there, didn't they?
Oh, they did, yeah, on the sheriff's boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she eventually gets to Jake and her other two kids, which I can't remember the name of them.
I can't remember. I think she says them like once, their names. I
Yeah.
don't, yeah.
It's just, they're not important. They're not important.
Call them Hansel and Gretel. I was trying to think of two little kids. Janet and John. That's
Janet
what
and
we used to
John.
have Janet and John
Oh.
books, didn't we, when we were kids?
Oh,
We're
God,
showing our
yeah.
age now.
Janet and John.
Janet and
my
John.
God. Oh, Charlie and Lola.
But it's better than Biff, Kipper and...
Oh, Biff, Kipper, yeah.
Oh, can't stand those books. I'm
The
so glad my
Magic
kids are going
Key.
out of those. The Magic Key, I've not definitely seen that
Isn't
one.
it? That's like the magic key is the books, isn't it? They find a magic key and in some of the books they go off to
Oh, I don't know.
like prehistoric places. I think
Do
one
they?
time they go back to ancient Egypt in the book.
Is that Biff, Chip
yeah,
and Kipper?
Chip and Kipper and all that.
Oh, I've
yeah.
not read those ones. My kids just had like the dog gets out of the house and makes a mess, or the dad does something stupid, or
Oh,
they're just like
I think
little
there's
short
series
stories,
of
aren't they?
them which are like Magic Key, which
Oh,
is a little
okay.
bit more like fantastical when they go off. Into
Can't stand
adventures.
them. What sort of names are they for children as well?
Yeah, there's Biff,
Biff, Chip and Kipper.
and Kipper. They're the kids' names.
They're the kids'
What's the
names.
dog's
Floppy
name?
is the dog.
Floppy's the dog.
And then you've got Mum and Dad. I think you've got Gran as well.
Oh God.
Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent again.
Yeah, I was just actually having like PTSD flashbacks to reading these stories. Anyway, not like reading stories to my kids gives me PTSD flashbacks, but it's those particular
I
ones.
imagine that's a very UK thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't
it
think
just
they'd
got
be-
I mean, if
Do you
it was like an international thing, we'd have probably had Biff, Chip, and Kipper movies.
Do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. They put anything on film in America. Clearly.
We found most of it. Yeah.
I don't think any film, no, I think there's only one film we reviewed, two films, maybe three, that we reviewed that were not American.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, we have only reviewed 12 films.
Yeah, true.
Oh no, it's 4 because the Carpenter was Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I digress. They get to the boat, they rescue the two kids, but Danny, Kelly Brook's character,
Yeah.
she's off. She gets it.
Yeah.
She gets it.
Yeah, so basically the mum says, I'm going to take Tweedledee and Tweedledum over, whatever they're called, I don't know what they're called.
We got to call them something different every time,
Yeah.
you realise that.
Yeah. So she says she's going to take the younger two over, and yeah, Kelly Brook's character they make like a
rope
line,
bridge,
don't they?
don't
Like
Yeah,
they've got to shimmy across that, and the older son stays on the boat because Danny's still trapped in the kitchen. They've got to go underneath to get her, they say,
yes,
don't they?
That's right.
So we're going to have to go underneath to rescue her. So he stays on the boat, and then they Kelly Brook dies quite quickly,
Yeah.
and then the kids get across, and then
The mum gets across.
yeah,
Jake ties the rope to himself that was the bridge.
yeah,
He throws the producer back in the water to divert all the piranhas away
yes,
from Kelly.
that's funny as well. We've got to talk
Which-
about that. Talk
That
about his
was a
death.
that was a very funny death because we thought he was already dead.
Yeah, so we thought, so he's covered over with a towel, isn't he? They covered his
Yeah.
head over, so we just assumed he was dead. And then, yeah, so we'll talk about his death because that was a good death, actually.
We'll go into detail on that one in a minute.
So, yeah, he kind of throws him back in to distract the piranha so that he can go under the boat and get to Kelly.
We then have... he sets the gas canisters off on
Yes,
the boat,
and then he
doesn't
gets a flare, doesn't
And a
he?
flare.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of kerfuffle where he's like, oh, put us away in 10 seconds and the engine doesn't start and
Yeah.
the piranhas come around and then the engine
And then guess what?
starts.
Just in the nick of time as it's all exploding, he
Yeah.
makes his getaway.
They get dragged away. So that's...
The boat just miraculously starts, doesn't it?
Well,
Like,
the maddest thing at that point is, right, all the piranha are there at that point. And that's what I think the movie wants us to believe, Or is it all the piranha that are around the boat?
It's very inconsistent with how many piranhas there are, because at some point you feel like there's millions.
Yeah.
And then other times there might be like a handful or, I don't know, less than 100. Like, and then other times you feel like the whole lake is covered in these things.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I don't know whether that was meant to be every piranha there.
Yeah, because they said, I mean, literally the boat blows up and the shockwave kills all the piranhas.
But they get away fine.
Yeah,
but,
of course. I mean, you know.
But we also do
humans are actually quite resistant to explosions and implosions.
Well, have you seen them? Stop! We're going to get into trouble. Have you seen Taken 3?
Yeah.
Please tell me you've seen Taken 3.
Yeah, Liam Neeson.
He gets blown up about 3 times in that movie and just walks out without a scratch or a mark on him.
But then that's Liam Neeson.
He gets blown up in a lift, in a car, and he just walks away. It's like, and what?
Yeah, but with a slightly American-Irish accent.
Yeah, I can't do his accent.
And what?
But literally, there's so many times that he should have been blown up and he just walks away.
Which is amazing, because those explosions happen for real in that movie. And he's like, no, I'm an actor, I can take it.
Yeah, he's just like, fine.
I do all my own stunts.
So we know from that, anyway, that humans are...
I'm sorry, but you just rode roughshod over the best Liam Neeson impersonation I've ever done in my life.
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice.
I mean, that's...
Better than your Robert De Niro.
I will never ever be able to recreate that.
It's on, but you've recorded it, so it's there forever. The children can keep it.
I'll play it back in a minute when we're done. Quick, what's the timestamp? So anyway, right, so they get away, they're on the boat, and one of them says, oh, it killed them all.
Yeah, but there wasn't that many there. There wasn't many there.
That's what I'm thinking. Was it all of them around the boat? Was it all of them in the lake? But we don't get an answer.
Well, no, they do say when they're on the phone to Doc Brown, which is what I'm going to call him.
Yeah, okay.
Because they were on the phone to him at one point, and she says, we killed them all. Well, most of them, or something. I don't think all, but most of them.
Yeah.
So we don't know how many they think they've killed, but they are aware that they might not have killed all of them. And then he says something very interesting, doesn't he?
And we will never find out if they've killed them all, because he's like, you'll never believe the specimen you brought me doesn't have mature sexual organs or whatever it was. Reproductive organs. Doesn't have mature reproductive organs. And they're like, what does that mean? He's like, it's not fully grown.
Yeah.
And then the classic scene, like Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea, standing there, on one person standing there on their own at the boat, and you've just been told, they're not fully grown. Huh. And then it cuts to Adam Scott's character going, well, who'd have thought? And then all of a sudden, giant piranha takes him, roll credits, end the movie. Mm-hmm. And it was so obvious that end, wasn't it?
So obvious, but I still liked it.
But it was still, enjoyable. Still enjoyable. So that was Piranha. I mean, that was like, I say, we really fired through that. We have been talking about the synopsis for 40 minutes. How? How was that 40 minutes ever?
I don't know.
How was that 40 minutes?
And I didn't even talk about the 80s, did I? Well,
we kind of mentioned films in the 80s.
Yeah, but not as much of a tangent as I normally go on, let's be fair.
You're right, it wasn't. Your father's hair came nowhere near this movie. But I tell you whose hair did come near this movie. One of the women that we're going to talk about when we get to deaths.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, that's going to be on the flip side.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think I've got that in... No, that isn't a bad death for me. Anyway, right, let's get on to the topics.
Where do you want to start?
Where do we want to start? I think basically we just want to get to the big scene, don't we?
Yeah, so let's rush through the other bits so that we can get to there.
All right.
Although I have got loads of little side notes as well, so I don't know whether it's worth...
We'll chuck them in. We'll get them in. Don't you worry.
Including some good lines.
So let's start with a scene. Have you got anything down as a good scene?
Oh, we're not talking about the...
No, not the... Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's a good point. We'll come back to scenes because we'll talk about the
We'll talk about the big... Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I thought we were just going to do that separately, but we've got scene, haven't we?
We've got scene, so that is the good scene for me.
Do you know what? I actually don't have anything down as good actress.
No, I guess by default, it would be the sheriff.
But Elizabeth Shue didn't give a great performance there.
No.
I've seen her do better.
Yeah, she wasn't amazing, but then nobody was.
Nobody really stood out as being...
Apart from Kelly Brook, if she's happy to do an interview with us. And if not, she's going down as the West.
Yeah. I mean, she's not far. She could just pop over one night.
Exactly.
You know?
It wouldn't
I'll
hurt her,
go
would
pick
it?
her up.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt her.
You know? Like...
I'm sure she's probably got a driver, hasn't she?
Yeah.
That could bring her over.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so good actress, no, not really, like I say, by default, but this wasn't a particularly good performance, was
where
it?
anyone shone.
No.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and the same with actor, I think there was nobody
Yeah.
that stood out, was there? There was nobody. I guess the main actors were the son
Yeah.
and the porn producer guy.
Yeah. And again, I mean, yawn away. But, I mean, Jerry O'Connell gave a good, like, performance as a sleazy guy.
Yeah.
You know? So, it wasn't awful. It wasn't amazing. It just wasn't something that was like, oh yeah, they've done a really good job with that, or they've done something very funny with it. He was just a sleazy guy. Although there was one bit when he died, they will go into detail though, when he was going, they took my it was just very funny to... I mean, also quite disturbing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think actresses and actor is a bit of a... So I did actually put down Christopher Lloyd as best actor because I just like Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah. Just because he's Christopher Lloyd.
And it's Christopher Lloyd. But it's Christopher Lloyd doing Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
You know, it's Christopher Lloyd doing Doc Brown.
Yeah. That's the only way I can see
That's all that is, really. Alright, so what about supporting cast as well? I don't really have anything for supporting cast either.
No, I don't, because I think... Oh, there was were they supporting cast? It's a hell of a lot of extras.
Yeah, hell of a lot of extras.
Supporting cast, I guess...
Everybody that they were having fun at spring break,
Yeah.
you know, it just looked
Apart
like...
from that guy on the boat, his expression was a bit...
Well, yeah, there was
weird.
one guy who... I mean, he had just been attacked and...
Yeah, he was in shock, I think.
Yeah. I mean, his acting was definitely shocking.
Yeah, definitely.
It was definitely shocking.
But yeah, I don't know. In terms of supporting cast, there wasn't anyone, again, that stood out, was there?
The only person I think would stand out would be Ving Rhames, but because of his death.
Okay.
Because I just thought his death was great, but it was like a really sort of like final stand moment, and he did it really well.
Yeah.
You know, succumbing to Piranha after Piranha.
Yeah.
It was believable of a man being slowly taken down.
Yeah.
You know, like death by 1,000 bites.
Yeah, we need to talk about his death, don't we?
Yeah, do need to talk about his death.
That's part of that big scene, isn't it?
It is part of it.
There's so much to talk about on the big scene.
So much. So I did also put down in the supporting cast No Legs Lady.
Yeah, you loved that, didn't you?
It was so funny.
But was that just because you predicted what was going to happen?
Yeah,
and you
also
liked
partly
the fact
because I kind of, I half predicted.
Yeah, literally half.
Literally. So there's a woman being flown around on a parasail, boobs out.
Her boobs are flying out all over the
I
place
mean,
out of a bikini,
you know,
and
the one thing I would say, right, if you're going on a parasail, I'd really recommend some form of support.
yeah, like
Sports
a
bra,
vest or something rather than just a little bikini.
Yeah,
but
because
were they not filming her though for the movie, like for the
yeah, but I don't think she
movie?
really were filming her because that was just a woman on a parasail. And they were recording her from the boat. The producer was recording her.
That's surely not okay to do, is it?
It's not. I think that just happens at spring break. It's spring break.
Okay.
That's what happens.
We don't know. We've never been to spring break, have we?
No, I've never had a spring break.
No.
So yeah, and I turned to you and I said, "Oh my God, she has to go under the water and then come back out as it's just a skeleton on the parasail. That'd be amazing. Or like a mangled up person, you know, that's been eaten away. That'd be amazing." And I kind of got it because she went under the... Like, they stopped the boat, so she landed in the water. And the piranhas attack, of course, because this is just before the big attack scene.
Yep.
They're on the way to the spring break party. And they attack. And then the people on the boat go, "Oh my God, what's up?" And she's screaming, "Lift me up, lift me up."
Yeah.
And then by the time they actually get the engine started back up and pull away, obviously the the parachute reinflates, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it goes back up.
It goes back up. She's lifted out the water, and she's just like her legs
Bloody
are
stumps
all
for legs,
bloody
yeah.
stumps for legs. So.
But before that, she kind of goes onto her front in the water,
Yeah. Oh my
and you
God.
get this really unflattering shot of just her boobs just flapping about in the water. But I can't explain to you how unflattering it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of when a woman leans forward anyway, and like her boobs sort of droop because of the weight. So
Yeah, of course.
it's not the most flattering angle.
Yeah, fair.
So you kind of get this shot of her where she's leaning forward and it's just kind of drooping there.
Yeah,
But then
she
they
goes
like
through
hit the water, yeah.
and they'll just
They're just flapping about in the water, and it's just so funny.
It really
And I
was.
thought they're going to get her boobs, like they're just going to have mangled boobs.
Yeah.
But they didn't, did they? Her boobs were fine, unscathed.
Yeah.
And then when she comes back up, she's just got no legs from sort of, I don't know, the knee down, or is it a
Well,
bit
one
higher
of them's
up?
the knee down, one of them's a little higher,
it's a bit
and the
higher.
thigh down. But
Yeah, so basically they've just got her legs and then she's out of the water.
But I really enjoyed it because like when she was up in the air and she was flying about, she was having a whale of a time, having a good laugh, and then she's in the water and she's like, get me out. She did a good job.
Yeah.
She did a good
Okay.
job. You know?
Okay,
I appreciate
I'll agree
that.
with you on that.
But also, while we're on the topic of boobs,
Yeah.
right, I just wanted to say as well, there was obviously one scene, because when we had the underwater swimming scene with
Yes.
Danny and the other unnamed woman that was on the
Yeah,
boat with them.
they don't
for the
mention her
pond
name,
shoot.
do they, I don't think.
Yeah. The other unnamed woman, when she was swimming about, I was like, I pointed out to you, fake boobs.
Yeah.
And sure enough, later in the movie, once she's been eaten by
Yep.
the piranhas, you just see her two silicone implants floating
Yeah.
away in the water.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's such an
Yeah,
obvious
even the piranhas
joke.
didn't want to eat those.
No, such an obvious joke.
Yeah.
It really was. All right, so
So we've just got death and scene.
Death
I
and
say
scene.
we've got a lot to talk about.
well, I can tell you now, both of my deaths are in the big scene. So do we want to talk about that scene?
Should we talk about the scene?
And I'll point
then-
out the good deaths when we
yeah,
talk
I think
about
we
them.
just talk about it and include the deaths
Yeah.
in one, because we're not going to be able to separate the two, I
No,
don't think, because this
absolutely
scene is just kind
Yeah.
of,
It's just
there's a lot of
carnage.
deaths in the scene. But yeah, it's just such a great scene.
Yeah. So just before though we talk about the actual piranha big attack scene, I did one of my other favourite scenes though was when the geologists go underwater and they're attacked by piranhas.
Yeah.
One of them is sort of killed straight away. The other one's being attacked, but she's trying to get away.
Yeah.
Adam Scott dives in the water. He's not attacked by piranhas at all though, but he drags her out of the water, throws her towards, comes up at the boat and
Well, he comes off the boat, he goes, get her out of the water. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what do you
That's
think they're going to
exactly
do? They're just going to
Yeah.
stand there and leave her.
That's it, get her out of the water, but
But he's
literally-
acting like she's savable, isn't he? He's like,
Yeah.
get her out of the water because I can save this one.
And Elizabeth Shue drags her into the boat, but literally she's dragging like a bag
Oh
of
my
bones
God.
in a wetsuit.
So like there's kind of flesh there.
Yeah.
It's like her skin's been ripped off and her face has been ripped off.
Yeah.
But it just looks hilarious.
There's a lot
though.
of the muscle gone.
Yeah, it
she's
just
not
looks
down
hilarious.
to the bones, but she's
not down to the bone, but she's
very, very easy.
yeah. There's no skin left on her and stuff, but
But that's
it's
the
just hilarious.
inconsistency as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people eat them really quickly.
Yeah, and other
sometimes-
times it takes them ages to get. Yeah.
And that's one of my issues with the big scene as well, because like the inconsistencies of like how many piranha there are.
Yeah.
You look at the attack on the big attack, and it looks like it's some points there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands, and
And other times there's less than 100.
yeah, if
Yeah.
they ate everybody the same rate that they ate everyone,
Yeah.
people
No one would have a chance of getting out of the water, would they?
But lots of people do get
Yeah.
out. But they're very badly. I'm very badly bitten.
I'm still alive. I'm just very badly bitten.
I think I can smell almonds.
What I also like about this movie as well is you get like every now and then you get like piranha vision, like piranha's eye
yeah.
view of. So it's like you're the piranha going through the water and they don't show anything other than the water, do they? They don't show like
Yeah.
the legs dangling down or anything like that. It's just literally the water. But yeah, you get the view of the fish like
Yeah.
moving through the water, which I quite
And the
like.
thing, what you get the piranha view a lot of the time when like, and it'll cut to someone walking in the water or their feet dangling in the water. But you get the piranha vision,
Yeah.
and then it'll be like, you don't see that as an attack though. That person's always got themselves out of the water just in time. Like, not even like on purpose, they just step out the water and they don't even know the piranha's there, kind of thing. But it's always when it's the piranha vision that happens.
Yeah.
It's like, do they not want it? They don't want. Why don't they want to show an attack straight up? You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You do see a lot of like fish around people.
Yeah.
But you don't actually see them biting, because I think the CGI of them biting they just didn't want to do.
No.
Yeah. Right. So
this scene, where do we start?
Where do we start with it?
So.
Well,
I don't know.
The first person to be attacked is the
Is that
lady
the woman
in the ring.
Yeah. So I predicted that, didn't I? So
Yes.
there's a lady sitting in a rubber ring, and
How you described it first of all, though.
I can't remember exactly what I said, but I know it sounded
I
dodgy.
remember. She's going to be sucked through her ring.
Yeah. So you know what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you meant, but the child in me instantly went the other way.
So she's obviously sitting in this rubber ring, and the fish come up and start biting her ass, and she's like, oh, and then literally they pull her through, and she goes right through, and then she's a goner.
And you can see loads of little bits of flesh flying
back
the
up.
Yeah.
So it kind of just so it's just this scene is just everyone's out in the lake, literally everyone's out there. Some people are just swimming, some people are in little inflatables, some people are on boats. So everyone that's there is pretty much on the lake, aren't they, at this point? And and this is the bit where the police are going, get out of the water to everybody, isn't it? Is this the same scene where they're going,
yes,
get out of the water, but no one can hear them because
jump back in defiance of authority.
And I don't think they can. Probably half of them can't hear anyway because they've got music going and they've got they're all drunk and stuff. So and then it is just chaos. It's just like all of a sudden the piranha's just there, and they're starting to.
But that's one of my major issues with it.
Okay.
Why are the piranhas swimming past people?
Yeah.
Why are they not just attacking and a wave?
Well, this is the theme throughout the whole movie. Some people manage to get away unscathed, and other people get killed instantly, within seconds. So they tend to pick and choose their victims, which is weird because they wouldn't. They would just go for the first bit of flesh they could find.
That's what I didn't get about that. But suffice to say, that's what happens. But I
don't know where to start though because there's so much going on. And one thing I have got to mention is the way people try and kill the piranhas. So we have throughout the movie we have so many different ways. So imagine there's thousands of these fish, and like we say, there's inconsistencies. Yeah. Sometimes there's thousands, sometimes there's tens. Yeah. There's no consistency there. But
let's not question it.
the police try to shoot them.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd never in a million years could you shoot that many fish.
Yeah.
And also, fish are pretty fast swimmers. You wouldn't be able to shoot them. It'd be pretty hard to get one of them, wouldn't it?
It bloody would, yeah.
But they try shooting them. They've also got the police. The police have got a couple of ways, haven't they? What's the other thing they do? They try shooting them, and then they try taser. She tries a taser. So she tries her taser in the water, and it's just
explodes though.
Yeah, it's like
what?
But again, if there's thousands of them, you can't taser them all.
Maybe she was thinking, wait a second. If I tase the water, I'll electrocute all the fish.
I don't know. Honestly, it's so funny the way they try and then you've also got when Kelly's stuck in the kitchen of the boat.
Yeah.
At one point, she gets a frying pan out. She's just hitting these fish away with a frying pan.
Yeah. But I love that because it had a real clong sound.
Yeah. And there's also, I do want to talk about this as a death, but the porn producer guy, again, I can't remember his name, when he's laying on the boat at one point, when they drag him out of the water and he's on the boat, and I think it is Kelly Brook's character, Danny, has got an oar and she's trying to smack him away with the oar.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So there's lots of different inventive ways that they try and kill these fish, which just made me laugh because I thought, you can kill one or two like that, but you're not going to get through 50,000 of them.
No, you really.
So that was really funny in this scene because there was just loads of different ways that people were trying to get rid of them. There's also a guy that just thinks, "I'll screw everyone else," and gets on a speedboat and just
Yeah.
mows through people in the water.
Yeah, he's killing as many people as the piranhas did.
He's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm getting myself out of here. So he just goes for it, hell for leather, and and people are screaming, and he's just literally mowing through people to get out of there. So there's all that going on. There's also, they've got like a stage floating, like a floating stage, haven't they? With like a metal frame around it. So people start trying to climb up that, and obviously we were saying the weight's gonna make it go over, and so there's people like clambering up that, and that goes down at one point. There's just stuff going on. Oh, we've got to talk about the deaths, because there's just like so many great deaths. There is one. There's one where a woman falls off the boat, and she's being attacked by piranhas. I can't remember. Is it the woman that goes down with the porn producer?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And he's pretty much feeding her to the piranhas, because he's like, have her, not me. And at one point, she kind of opens her mouth, and then a whole massive piranha comes out of her mouth. So this is like the idea. I think we talked about this in the stuff, where there's nothing else in your body. It's just like one long kind of empty tube. So it's gone in somewhere and it's just come out of her mouth. Like, what?
I know. And the size of this fish.
It would fit in her mouth anyway.
There's no damage to her mouth. It's not like it eats its way out of her mouth. It just makes its way out like this.
She opens her mouth, and then the fish mouth comes out, and then the whole fish comes out.
Yeah, and somehow this fish manages to squeeze its body through
and
her mouth.
There's a big fish as well, so it's not... Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah. Again, a scene for a 3D movie.
And there's also the cop. So we talked about how they tried to kill the piranhas.
Yeah.
There's the cop with he takes the propeller off the boat, one of the boats.
Yeah, Ving Rhames, yeah.
So he is standing in the water with this boat propeller and basically making a piranha smoothie at this point. He's just put it in the water, and it's just blending them all up. They're just all hitting it and being blitzed
up. To be fair,
up.
he takes out far more piranhas that way.
That's more effective, that method.
Yeah.
But he's standing in the water, and as he is killing a lot of the piranhas with this propeller, they're obviously also getting to his legs.
He's surrounded, yeah.
He's just kind of getting shorter and shorter.
He's shrinking down into the water. And
As if you can still stay standing up, though, if someone's eating your legs.
I know, it's more like a case of...
It's like a cartoon.
I like to think that he's actually getting shorter because they're slowly eating his legs away.
Yes.
But I know it's more a case of he's slowly kind of succumbing and falling down. But there's a little bit of me that hopes it's actually...
Like a cartoon,
he is just... Like he's an unravelling jumper, you know.
It is literally like that. He just gets shorter and shorter and down, further down to the water. But at least his method is getting rid of some of them.
I mean,
more than like shooting one or two. He is
yeah.
making a smoothie, I think, of piranhas. So that was really funny. Oh god, it's just there's so much going on. But we need to talk about some of the deaths in that scene, because there are some great.
Oh, and some really brutal deaths. Because the Ving Rhames one was one of my favourite ones as well, because it was a really like great last stand and doing all that and being really effective. So that was one of my favourites. But another one of my favourites was another cameo in the movie. So by the director Eli Roth. I don't know if he directed this film. I don't think he did. But for some reason he's in it. And he goes. I mean. It's just such a brutal death. When shit first hits the fan and he ends up in the water when the stage goes over, he goes swimming towards a boat to try and get on it. And there's a woman on that boat, and he's being really mean to her. He's going, "Help me up, you bitch, help me up.
Oh, yeah.
Help me up, you whore," or whatever, something
You're
like
a
that.
whore. He calls her a whore, because I remember saying to you, if someone called me a whore when they needed help, I'd let them drown.
Yeah. See that?
If you're going to call me a whore, then you can...
You're fish food, mate. Thank you very much. But...
Have the life you deserve.
Is he fish food? No. Because like, this is an instance of someone dying to something not
not piranha related.
And so, I mean, it's really brutal, because he turns around and sees a larger boat coming towards him, and it smashes his head like a melon.
It decapitates him, doesn't it? Doesn't it come flying off?
Well, the top of his head comes flying off.
Just the top of it.
But his head literally is crushed like a melon.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the woman that he was trying to get to help him up. or demand to help him up, and she's just sprayed with gore.
Oh yeah, just completely covered.
It was.
Which I guess you would be if someone's head exploded in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
yeah.
had to hurt. Someone's got to get a mop.
It's just not good. But there's a couple of really good deaths with women, like just extras that we don't know who they are. So one woman gets her hair caught in the propeller of a boat.
Yeah, the guy that runs away, tries to run away.
So there's a lot of women with long hair that come cropper with it in this movie. So yeah, she gets her hair caught on the propellers of the boat, and then you just you see it for a while just getting twisted round, and then before you know it, it just rips her face off. So she's literally laying there it looks like her eyes are really bulged because it's ripped her face off.
Yeah, she's got googly eyes.
Yeah, eyes on stalks, and then just flesh with no skin on it. Like it just looks, but it looks so funny.
I'm pretty sure that hair follicles are not that strong. I mean, it might, leave a bit of a bloody trail scalping you, but it's not going to take the rest of your face. And it's not even all of her face. It's like the top half of her face it takes off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how accurate that is. And then you've also got another woman who, again, is just an extra on a boat, who has a bit of a Final Destination esque death, doesn't she?
I forgot about that.
So at one point, what is it that comes? Is it a bit of wire or something that comes flying off of one boat
I think
in the chaos?
Yeah,
or is it when the stage goes down?
Bit of
something?
wire from the stage.
Oh, so when the stage goes down, a big bit of wire just swings round.
Yeah. Or like in Ghost Ship. Have you seen the beginning of Ghost Ship?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, I'll let you carry on and I'll tell you about it.
So this big piece of wire just swings round, and this girl's on the boat, and it just slices through one of her boobs and her torso.
Well, the movie's far nicer to the audience. We can still see sliced boobs because it slices her in half diagonally and misses both boobs.
Okay.
For the audience.
So yes, the audience can still enjoy a boob, and then obviously the top half just sort of slides down. But that is in Final Destination. There is one where a wire cuts somebody in several places, and it just kind of goes and slides away. So
it's like Ghost Ship.
Okay.
So Ghost Ship starts with a really fancy sort of cruise.
Yeah.
But for a series of events, right? There's these people. There's a little girl running around, and she's shorter than everyone else, and everybody's at this really fancy dance, and you've got a band playing, and then all of a sudden something happens, and a wire just zips through everyone, and everyone's sort of standing there stock still, and then they just fall apart like that as well. It's such a trope of movies. I think the first time I ever saw anything like that happen was in Resident Evil.
Okay.
Where they are trying to get to turn something off and shut down the emergency stuff in this building or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's this laser that goes through the room as a defence thing, and it's cutting people in half and things like that. But the one guy at the end, he thinks he's defeated it because he dives over or whatever. But then it goes from being just a single laser line to a mesh of lasers, and it just goes through him, and he falls apart in little pieces. It's such a trope, but it's always really funny to see in a movie. I'm not gonna lie.
It was great. It was, but it just made me think Final Destination.
Yeah.
But there's just so many. But the best, I don't know. I think the best death, although it wasn't.
The best bit of that, yeah. Go on.
It wasn't all in one go. It was in two different scenes.
Yes.
But the porn producer.
Yeah.
So he's gone down in the water with the other woman that we don't know the name of, who's had the fish come out of her mouth, and he's pretty much going, have her, have me. They pull him out of the water, but they pull him out, and honestly, it's so funny. Oh, he comes out. So I did see one of them. I did see one of the piranhas when he first went into the water go for his crotch, but I wasn't sure if they'd got anything or whether it just went to get him and didn't get him. And he gets pulled out, and I think it's possibly the first thing he says is, "Did they get my penis?" or "Did it something like that? Did they take my penis?"
They took my penis. They took my penis.
But he gets pulled out, and honestly, the legs. So his top half is intact, isn't it?
Top half intact, yeah.
And then his legs are literally like down to the bone, little withered, like tiny legs.
He's still got the feet attached, like little bony feet.
Little bony, yeah. So it's like some flesh, but then just down to bone towards the end of the leg.
It was like, want to see my strong legs?
Yeah, that's what you said, didn't you? As he came out, I use my strong legs. So he comes out and it just looks ridiculous, and I was just laughing at that because it was just so funny the way they'd done it. And then he says the thing about his penis, and I was like, I thought the fish went for his penis, but I wasn't sure. Then we see, then it just like cuts to a penis.
Well, it was first of all we see the floating implants. And
then we see the penis come into shot.
Mm-hmm.
Then a piranha grabs the penis in its mouth, takes a bite out of it, and burps it back out. Yeah. And I think that would have been a 3D bit, wouldn't it, in the 3D version? Yeah. So so that's that part, and then we think he's dead, don't we? And they put a towel over him. But then no, he's not dead. So they later on, when the son tries to thinks, I'll throw him back in the water to distract the fish so that I can go and get Kelly out of the kitchen. He goes to pick him up, and he's alive, and he like moves, and then he takes the towel off of his face, and he goes, his last words are, "Wet t-shirt," wet, and he's like spitting up blood. And he's like, wet t-shirt, and then he just gets tossed into the sea again. And I'm like, this death was brilliant.
It's not a normal death, is it?
It's just like, it's not even in one scene either. It's like split over 2 scenes, which I loved as well. Yeah. So just when you thought it was over, he was still alive for a few seconds, and then he was thrown overboard.
And his little brain synapses are working away, and the last thing
he says is wet t-shirt. But so I just thought his death was really good because it was drawn out. I mean, the legs alone just did it for me because it looked so funny.
Honestly, those legs, when he came out of the water.
The fact that as soon as he came out of the water, all he was worried about was his penis. I was like, I think you've got bigger things to worry about than that, mate. Like, look at your legs. But yeah, it was just the whole thing. It was just brilliant.
Oh, dear, yeah. Oh, I was not expecting to get back up. I was not expecting it.
I didn't expect that at all.
Oh dear. All right. Is there anything else in that scene that you can think about? I think that was a really good. I think so. I think there was covering of it.
I think that was quite a lot there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there really was.
No, I'm just having a look through my notes. I don't know.
So you said you had a few lines written down as well.
Oh yeah. So no, I haven't actually got a few. I did hear a few that I think I've not written down, but one of them was quite early on, I think, when they're all having the big party and they're all, girls were all running around with no tops on or tiny little bikinis on and stuff. And there's a guy, and I don't know who he is, whether he's a DJ or what, says at one point, "weapons of masturbation." Which just made me really laugh.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I'd forgotten about that.
But there were some other lines, and I don't think I've written them down. Have you got some?
There was one more where they say, because it was just after that, because I think it's the beginning of like the wet t-shirt contest.
Yeah.
And he's like, show me those Danny DeTitos.
Oh yes, you would say that.
Oh my God, I've never ever heard boobs described as Danny DeTitos.
No, I've never heard that ever.
That really did make me chuckle. I did enjoy that one. Well, I don't have anything more to add to any of the categories. Have you?
The only other line I had that I thought was funny was when the son's on the boat and he sees the brother and sister on the rocks.
Yeah.
I think I might have already said this actually, but he says to the other guys on the boat, "That's my family. They might be in trouble.
They might be in trouble. Yeah.
There's 2 9-year-olds stuck on a rock. I think they're in trouble. Yeah, I have talked about this.
Yeah, because you went very mum.
Yeah, I went very mum, and I went very mum again.
But yeah, so mum on that one.
I know, I just had to say it twice because they don't listen. These children don't listen. Oh, and there was one bit where the piranhas were eating a person, and they just sort of pulled an eyeball out.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was on a string.
Yeah, they went. They were very, very specific going for eyeballs.
It was
weren't
very,
they?
it was very like they pulled it out and it was kind of attached still, like the optic nerve was still there, and it was just kind of
I
like.
don't know if the
Boing.
optic nerve is that long.
I don't think it
And
is.
I don't think it stretches either. It's
It was
not
like
a
it reminded
bungee
me
cord.
of. Did your kids ever have Gooey Louie, the game?
No.
Where you pull the. It's gross. You pull the snot out of his nose. Did they never have that?
Oh, no.
Oh no, it's gross.
Whoa.
But they're like, like about. This is not going to work on a podcast, but they're that long.
And for the listeners there, Emma is holding her fingers this far apart.
Thank you, David, for sorting
You're
that out.
welcome. It's about the length
they're
of
just
an average iPhone.
They're like, they're not. They're
And
just.
also, don't do that movement now.
They're just like I can't explain them. They're gooey.
They're just gooey. It's not.
But it was like that.
It's
It
not.
was kind of like this eyeball was on a bit of gooey Louie.
It was like you could have just
Not-
gone with the eyeball that was on a Stretch Armstrong album or something.
Yeah, kind of like that,
But
but
no,
smaller.
you
I went
took it.
very specific. I thought you'd know gooey Louie.
No, I've never had a gooey Louie.
No,
Oh God.
I'll have to
you
show
still
you.
got it.
I think I might have. I'll show you after. I'll show you after this if I've still got it. It's one of Lois's games. It's gross. She's also got a monkey game that the monkey poos and you have to change its nappy.
Oh.
She loves stuff like that. She's gross.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
But who's buying this for her? Yeah.
this guy.
For the listeners, Emma pointed directly to herself. All right, should we score this movie?
Yeah, I think we should.
Right. Do you want to go first? I feel like I'm always like saying you go first.
I feel like I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5,
4. Okay.
Yes, and I wasn't expecting to say that. I had only watched this years ago, and I don't think I'd made it all the way through because I wasn't watching it for this podcast. I was just watching it
Yeah.
see what it was like, and I think I probably turned it off halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
But having watched it again as a bad movie, there was so much in there. It did start off slow. That's why I'm not giving it 5 out of 5 because
Sure.
I was a bit bored in the beginning. But then once we hit that major scene, there was so much going on. The deaths were very inventive. The way they tried to kill the piranhas, amazing. Just it had lots going for it at that point. I think some of the lines they came out with, just there was loads in there that was really entertaining. I think.
I was thinking of a 4 myself.
Yeah.
But I'm actually going with a 3.5 stars.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going with 3.5 is, it was pretty boring, like you said. To
Yeah.
start. It was far too much setup when they could have had far more attacks and deaths and so on. I think they missed a trick with so much setup.
Yeah, considering there wasn't so much of a storyline,
Yeah.
you didn't need to set up for that
Exactly.
long. You could have just
Yeah.
been like, okay, we're on spring break, go.
Yeah, just carnage.
Yeah.
And especially because, and this is the reason why I'm taking an extra half star off of it, is at the end there's like no resolution.
Yeah.
So that like we spend all this time getting to know these characters and then about them, and then we don't ever actually find out that if what happened.
No.
We don't know if they're safe. We don't know if they survive because
We don't know if they killed all of the piranhas. We don't know
Yeah.
where. There's obviously these adult ones now, but is there a sequel to this movie?
I don't know if there's a sequel to it. If there is,
Maybe they were planning one though. It sounds like
if there is, I think we need to just stay up real late now and watch it. No, that ain't
I
happening.
can never do it.
Oh God, could you imagine? But yeah, no, because of that, I think I am gonna have to go back and take that extra half mark off. And yeah, I have just found there is a sequel.
I thought there must be.
It's called Piranha 3 Double D.
Oh yeah, I saw that when I looked it up on Prime.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will just point out here that Ving Rhames' character is back in it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm hoping it's a flashback.
Yeah.
Because
Otherwise, that's weird.
Because there was no way he was surviving.
No.
What happened to him? So we'll find out. But it doesn't look like. Oh, Christopher Lloyd's back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of
Christopher
course,
Lloyd is
because he's
back.
the expert, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's
he's
got
the
to be in it.
expert. So yeah, that might come up in one of the it may, like I know we said like we might have a sequel season.
Yes.
Maybe this will come up in the sequel season.
Yeah.
With Carousel 2 and other things. So
Yeah.
maybe. All right. So
So
I'd
3.5
recommend people
and
to
4.
watch this movie.
I think most
Power through the
people.
first 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think most people probably would have watched it.
Yeah, that's true.
This is probably the biggest budget bad movie we've watched. Would you say?
Yeah, relatively speaking. I mean, even
Yeah.
thinking like, even the stuff wouldn't have had a big budget because Larry Cohen movies didn't really have big budgets.
No.
Even though it was an 80s movie, I think if you can pick
I think this
comparatively,
is well
this would
known.
be a
Piranha's
much-
well known. Like,
yeah, and especially because
it's not a
like
niche.
some of the cast in it,
yeah.
and
So I think a lot of people will have seen this.
yeah,
But will they have made it all the way through, or would they have turned it off thinking that's a load of rubbish? But actually, if you're looking for
Yeah.
bad movies, this
Yeah.
is great. This is a great bad movie.
I think I actually would love to have seen this in 3D at the cinema.
Yeah.
Just because of the underwater naked 3D scene. No, just because of the penis. No. But I think it would be really funny to see if the 3D effects worked.
Yeah.
3D in movies isn't great.
No.
I mean, it's not.
No.
Did I ever tell you about the first time I went to see a 3D movie?
Don't think so.
When Avatar came out.
Oh, hold on. This
Does this
sounds
story ring a
familiar.
bell?
Tell me.
So I came to Ashford Cinema,
Yeah.
right, to watch it 3D, and I get there and I get my 3D glasses, and I show the guy my ticket, and
Yeah.
he goes, right, yep, second door on the right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go in, your screen second door on the right, so I go in and I count second door on the right, and I go in. The movie's already started.
Yeah.
Now, I'm always early for movies. I'm never late for them. I always
Yeah.
catch the trailers, and I'm annoying myself because I know it's only going to be half hour of trailers, and I don't
Yeah.
really want to see. But the movie's already started, so I go and sit in my allotted seat, which it was really busy, so I was quite close to the front of the cinema. So I'm in late. People obviously like, oh look at this idiot coming in late.
Yeah.
I unwrap my 3D glasses from their plastic wrapper.
Yeah.
I put them on, and I'm watching this film, and I'm like.
And you
"This
didn't notice at
3D."
any point that no one else has got 3D glasses on.
And I wasn't really looking at them.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the movie, I'm like, take the glasses off, and I walk away, and I'm like, that 3D stuff's rubbish. I then realise the second door on the right, well, the first door was like a service door or like a storage cupboard. So that's not the first door he meant.
Yeah.
The first door he meant was screen one that was showing Avatar 2D.
Yeah.
The actual second door on the right
Was
was
3D.
screen whatever Avatar.
But they
3D.
normally say screen 2 or screen. They don't normally say second door on the right or whatever. They normally say screen.
Yeah,
6.
but I think it was like, screen 2, second door on the right, something like that.
Okay.
So I've gone, all right, okay, blah, blah.
Okay.
And, and I didn't think about it because the movie had already started. I thought, oh, God, I better get
Can
to my
I
seat.
give you a little tip here, David?
Yeah, go on.
When you go to cinema, normally in a great big massive font is the number of the screen above the door.
Yeah, I know that.
You know that now.
I know that. I just trusted the man.
Oh.
And
And the lesson is never trust anyone.
Never trust a man. Don't
Yeah,
know
well,
man.
that's true, yeah.
Never trust a man. Dear. Yeah, so, and then,
So you
and
didn't
then my
even get
mum
to
and
see
dad-
all of it.
My mum and dad went to watch Avatar 3D, and my mum was like, "Oh, that scene with the tree and all the little."
And did you just
like,
go along
bits
with it and
coming
go,
down
yeah,
off the
Mum, that was
tree?"
amazing? Or did
No,
you go,
I fessed
I'm an
up.
idiot?
I fessed up because like everyone knows I'm an idiot. I can be a complete idiot sometimes. Only sometimes. Don't get carried away. And I was like, "Oh, was it? Was it brilliant? Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All these little things coming down off the tree." Mum said, "Oh, it was magical." My mum loves Avatar. She's watched it millions of times.
Yeah.
Although she didn't like Avatar 2, and I think it actually rocked her world. She was so upset.
Yeah.
I found her
I don't think anyone liked Avatar 2, did they?
Avatar
I haven't
2.
seen it, I've just
I've
heard.
not seen it because I'm the same.
I've heard bad reviews, yeah.
Don't really fancy it. But yeah, that was my experience of 3D movies. Anyway, we'd recommend this film.
Oh, 100%. A
Not
lot of
Avatar
people
2D.
would have heard of it. A lot of people would have seen it.
Yeah,
It's just watch it for that scene alone.
100%. So, we've got nothing more to say about Piranha unless you want to come over and catch us on...
The flip side, motherfuckers.
where you can hear us talk about all the bad bits.
Which there aren't many.
No, there aren't many.
So we might have to talk about the 80s again. I'm just saying, I don't know what we're going to pick apart from this
You
movie
said
that's bad.
There was such a pleading look in Emma's eyes when she said that. Can we just talk
Please,
about
can we
the
talk
80s?
about the good old
Are
days?
we just going to have like a bonus episode of the
We've
good
got
old
to do
days?
80s movies at some point because they're amazing.
Yeah, 80s
So,
movies.
But
We need
then they're
a
not
whole...
bad, they're good, so...
I think we could do like a whole like extra whole thing of 80s movies.
Yeah.
Like
An
just
extra standalone podcast.
yeah. And we'll just do an extra 80s movies because I love 80s movies. There's so many awful but great 80s movies.
Yeah.
Do you ever see Garbage Pail Kids?
No, I don't think so.
Dreadful.
Okay.
Dreadful film. But it's so 80s. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Like I say, if you want to hear the bad bits, come and catch us on the
flip side.
I nearly said it.
Did you?
I nearly said it and I nearly stole your thunder.
It's not your job, David. I'm
It's
sorry.
not my job to say that. So yeah, come and catch us on there. Catch us on our social media. Go to the links that will be in the episode description. All the links will be in there.
Yep.
If you've watched Piranha 3D,
let us know if you've watched the movie. What
let
you
us
thought
know
of
if
it.
you watched it in 3D in the cinema.
Yes.
Because that's what I'd really like to know. Did the effects work or did they not?
And let us know if you agree with anything that we've talked about, because we've always got our opinions on best and worst.
Absolutely.
But we always like to hear your opinions.
And also, we're quite fragile. So don't, if you disagree with us, don't tell us.
You can tell us, but just tell us nicely.
Just tell us nicely, please. If it's Kelly Brook, get in touch.
Yeah.
Your local, we'll have an interview.
We'll wait to hear from you.
And catch you soon. Do I dare tag Kelly Brook?
Yeah.
In Instagram?
Why not? She's only going to ignore it.
She is only going to ignore it. Yeah.
She must get tagged in thousands of things.
I
She won't
should
even
tag
see it.
every actor and actress that's
Yeah.
in these movies and directors, because they'll all have Instagrams.
Yeah.
Even in the bad movies, they'll all have it.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Anyway, thanks everybody. It's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.